Well, we should be back here. John, I'm getting a call from our director, so you could take it away for the time being.
Yeah, while we're waiting, we did have one other question from Ryan Kim in our last stream. Bears Packers question. If I had to take that one, I think it's somewhat dependent on the quarterback situation. Aaron Rodgers has been dealing with a couple injuries, and Justin Fields obviously coming back this week. Jack, what do you think? Bears Packers this weekend. That was the question from Ryan in the last chat.
Of course he asked that question. I mean, listen, the Packers are a mess this year. I'm not going to lie. It's no surprise. But I don't know. It's like no matter how many times, how much weight your little brother lifts or how much taller or stronger your little brother gets, you're always going to be able to say that one thing that just, irks them so much that they just start crying. And that's kind of what I feel like Packers fans have with Bears fans. No matter how much better the Bears are, even the occasional win the Bears get, I'll just say, 2015 NFC Championship game, or that time Rodgers brought us back from 23 down, and the Bears fans just crack and they start crying. And I mean, that's just our relationship with them. So, if Justin Fields plays, it's a totally different game. But if he doesn't play, I mean, the Packers are just going to run it up the Bears. So.
Here's our
There we go.
fellow baseball player, and we'll be delivering a brief message. Vince, how's it going?
I'm good, guys. Can you hear me okay?
Of course.
You're great.
Yeah, we got you, Vince. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Can you hear us?
Oh, yeah. Heard you loud and clear.
Glad to hear it.
So I'm here at the women's game here in Phillips Gym at the Oberlin College. The Yeo women are up 41-36 on Penn State Barron. It's a bit of both teams are in a bit of a turnover-filled stupor, if you will. 14 for Penn State Barron and 11 for Oberlin right now. The bench for Penn State not performing, 0 points, while Oberlin has 15 points off the bench. Leading scorers for both teams, Madeline Boyer for Penn State Barron has 12 at the half. And for Oberlin, for the Yeo women, Maggie Balderstone is perfect from the field, 1 of 1 from 3 as well. 7 points to her scorecard at the half here at Phillips Gym.
What are we looking to see in the second half, Vince? Any adjustments you think would really push the Yeo women over the edge?
I'd like to see Gina, distribute a little more right now. She does have 2 assists, but 3 turnovers. So there was 1 assist that got called off due to a timeout. Beautiful pass from around midcourt to the basket to number 15, Honora Lee, that got called off, unfortunately. A beautiful pass from Gina, but looking to see her distribute maybe a little more and maybe shoot a little bit more from 3. She's already 2 of 3 thus far from beyond the arc.
Love to see Gina getting hot from 3. She's getting into it after an all-conference first-team season last year. Pretty exciting stuff going on with the women's basketball team.
Absolutely, and for those in the world that like to wager, those in the world that enjoy betting, the unofficial pregame line was set at -8.5 for the Yeo women. I'd say at halftime, looking at maybe live line of -9.5, minus 300. I'd say on the money line if you're looking to wager the Yeo women here at the half.
I mean, I'm not a betting man, but if I was,
neither am I.
Yeah,
none of us are
like
per NCAA compliance.
Yes,
obviously, Vince. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
We got the men's game back up. They just got back underway, took off after that blistering second half. And Vince, have you been following the men's game at all?
we have. We've been seeing your beautiful faces here on the live stream during our game, following along. So it's great to see the Yeo Cast up and running here in its inaugural stream.
Vince, the question of the hour, though, that came up early on in this game were tattoo sleeves. We have a large individual on Wabash who has a slightly incomplete tattoo sleeve. What are your thoughts on coming up against any opponent in any sporting event who who either has some type of tattoo or some type of sleeve. What are your thoughts?
So for me, I mean, tattoos to each their own. I'm not a big needle guy, so for me,
Same.
I would never do that. But again, to each their own. I don't have an opinion one way or another. If I'm facing someone with a tattoo, good for them. A whole sleeve on the arm is a little much, but I'm not one to judge.
The point that Max brought up that I thought was, pretty applicable to the three of us as baseball players is number 33 on Wabash has the tattoo sleeve on his shooting arm. Now that would be similar to one of the three of us getting it on our throwing arm.
Mm-hmm.
That seems a little dicey to me. I don't want too many needles going into my throwing arm. That's a tough scenario.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. I don't even sleep on my throwing arm, so
Exactly.
let alone getting a needle on there. That's going to be a no-go for me. But
How do you name
whatever
your throwing
works.
arm? Does it have a name, Vince, or is it just the cannon? Like, what do you call it?
My throwing arm?
Yeah.
I try not to put too much emphasis on it. Try to kind of let it do its thing. No name at this time.
All right. No, nameless.
Nameless, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Sometimes, the artist formerly known as Prince, like sometimes no name is almost better.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you want to go for the one name, make it a little more dramatic, a little more, like Cher, if you will.
Yeah.
Whatever you got going, yeah.
I
The
think
one thing I will say is some have called Vince's throwing arm the gun, but that is, that's a more underlying name from fans rather than
You have to say it. You have to say it like you with the accent. Say it again.
Yes, the gun.
The gun.
An unofficial nickname for Vince over here.
Thank you, John.
Well, shifting back to basketball, Jack, you've been keeping a close eye on this game, and Oberlin are coming out hot.
I was going to say, I anticipated Wabash coming out strong, attempting to punch Oberlin back a little bit. And I was going to say, Oberlin, we're going to have to weather that storm. But it's been Oberlin who've applied the pressure, hitting their shots, good opportunities. There was some really good footwork from Style McCorkle, as I think you say his name, 31 for Wabash, where he sort of sliced and diced and spun, and Akeem Olajuwon spun Georgie for a nice little basket. But other than that, that's been the sole bright spot for Wabash. Oberlin have been stroking their threes and really looking strong again. Vince, I know the women's team likes to move the ball a lot. They like to spread the scoring. Does it seem like everybody's locked in today? Do you think this might be an individual effort or two from one of the two of the women's players who need to step up, or do you think it's going to be a team effort?
I think thus far it's been a team effort. A lot of names to the score sheet already. Just looking at it briefly, everybody who's played has gotten at least one bucket, except for two people. So, definitely distributing well here. Lots of people getting to the line, getting to the free throw line. So definitely a team effort thus far. And I think if they're going to go out and win this game, we'll have to continue that trend.
Well, I'd like to thank the viewers who have stuck with us through our broadcast thus far. We've been working hard. We did not pay for Zoom Premium, which has been the reason for the ending and restarting of our broadcast. That's why it's going to look like on YouTube we had 10 broadcasts so far, but thank you for sticking along with us, and we'll be continuing for the rest of this match. Vince, how much more time until the women come back out for the second half?
We've just under 2 minutes left here. The Yeo women have already come out to get their after halftime shoot around here. Last question for me, for you guys. What do you got on this Wabash production value? It looks like a pretty good production setup they got over at Wabash. Nice looking scoreboard on the stream. What are your guys' thoughts?
Oh, it's fantastic over here, Vince. We're in Wonderland, really, and everything they've got going. They got multiple camera angles. I just wish that someday maybe Oberlin could bring that kind of production value to our campus. That would be something to be desired. But thanks for joining us, Vince, and I hope that you can enjoy the women's basketball game as much as we're enjoying the men's game, and I hope that they do just as well as Oberlin's doing against Wabash. So take care.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you, Vince.
All
That
right.
was really great, guys. Having Vince on, I thought he had great insight there on the women's game, and even with some live lines for those who might indulge in betting. None of us, but
Obviously,
some others,
if you want to.
obviously, where it's legal.
I've got some drawings here for you. I'm going to stand up. Okay. These are some things I've seen. I think I've effectively, essentially broken down the basics of the Oberlin offense. We're going to
Oh, that was beautiful, Jack.
Okay, so on this half, this is the Oberlin offense as I see it. Where are we? Here we are. Okay. Point guard is Yuki right here. Orange is not a good color. But Yuki comes to the half court, comes down here. There's a high ball screen on the top of the key, which is above the three-point arc right here, from most likely Georgie. He's the more athletic and the more sort of dribble driver penetrator. On the side, the opposite way that the ball screen goes is Demi and somebody in the corner who's a shooter, either Will or Henry or Andrew. There's a down screen set after Yuki comes off the screen. So Yuki's going to come to this side of the court, either hit the pick and roll here to the basket, or stop and shoot here, which he's done very effectively a couple of times. You've seen 3 or 4 shots here from him. Somebody in the corner, right down here, so that if Yuki continues to drive to the lane, he can kick it out, shot in the corner. Or if this doesn't work, he comes off the ball screen, Georgie's going to roll to the basket. This person who comes up the screen is going to come up and have a shot up here. So you've got a dribble drive, you've got a stop and shoot, you've got a pick and roll, you've got a corner 3, or you've got a 3 in the wing. You've got about 6 options within the first 6 or 7 counts of the shot clock, which is really good with how good Yuki is at distributing the ball. Gives him a lot of opportunities to maybe find some different things. And I really like the system. It really gives a lot of responsibility but creativity to those Oberlin players. On the other side, we saw a 2-3 zone for a little bit, so I thought I'd break down the basics of a 2-3 zone. And here, I'm going to actually adjust the color on this really quick so that it's easier to see for the folks at home. Oberlin are circles. Wabash are X's. Okay, the 2-3 zone, you've got 2 up on the perimeter right here, 3 along the baseline. The way it works, the ball comes over here. If it moves this way, this person defends that zone. Zone defense, like in football or like in other sports, it's an area, not a person. The way to attack it is to find the open spaces. Biggest open space is this collapsible space right here, right on the free throw line. Normally, you'd put somebody who can turn, get the open shot, or also pass. So Demi's the perfect person for this. Drop it in. Either somebody from the top 2 has to collapse down, which makes a wing spot open for a shot, or somebody on the blocks here has to step up, or the defender in the middle has to step up, which if you have another person on the block, nice little give and go. A lot of programs call it maybe a high-low post. Little passing and going, make some open shots. Oberlin have been doing both of these offenses really well. That's why you're seeing the score what it is.
Jack, you must be just a fantastic basketball coach. You really should you should be the coach of our intramural team. That's clear.
I mean, if you start an intramural team, I'd gladly coach you.
Well, when does the middle school basketball start to open up scout or coaching applications?
Well, I mean, I think, their season is probably already started now, but I could maybe come on as, maybe if they fire their coach with a bad season, mid-season firing, I could step in as the interim, try it out.
Interim manager.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say, it's one of the bigger hot seats in all of sports is the Oberlin Middle School basketball team. Those are tough positions to hold on to.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a rotating chair, Yeah. I'd love to maybe bring some stability to that position.
Yeah, I think you could.
I've definitely got, I wouldn't say a manifesto, but I think I've got some ideas that I'd like to implement pretty harshly.
I think you bring the stability to a program like that, much like almost a 2016 Sergio Busquets in the midfield for Barcelona would be
Yeah,
similar.
very calming presence in a lot
Yeah,
of ways.
calming presence.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I mean, I
Jack,
appreciate the praise, you know.
Yeah.
Jack, could we get some statistical analysis? Who's been doing the scoring for both sides? Who's been pulling up, passing it around?
I
Maybe
can get that for
fouls.
you very soon.
While you're pulling that up, just like to mention, we're looking good here, and for what, the 25th ranked team in the nation, Oberlin are marching on right here. 13 minutes remaining. I'm starting to cross my fingers now, but we look fantastic. Another charge to the rim, and Wabash are showing some physical presence, right, John? I think. What are you seeing here?
I think something that I've been, as you said, we are starting to cross our fingers in here. You don't want to really milk the shot clock yet, but you're really looking for good shots here. You don't want to give them anything. You don't want to turn the ball over, create easy buckets. What we saw right there. I wouldn't say careless, but a contested shot early in the shot clock, give the ball back to Wabash, and then they go down the court and get an and one. You don't want to give them these easy opportunities in the quick game to let them go on a run, but you also don't want to get too tentative to the point where you're not scoring points and you're just giving them easy opportunities in that way as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the coaching staff sets this up. I think you want to really take your time and look for the best shot available to you. You see them looking to go inside now. When you have a big lead late in the game, you want to be smart, but you also don't want to get too tentative. So we'll see. We'll see what direction we go in here.
Yeah, I definitely think tentativeness is a bad place for the Yeoman squad to get into. Even if they lose this game, they need to lose it trying to win it, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
All right, I've got the scoring for you. Demi with 17. He's about 50% from the field. He's 33% from three. Both those statistics are acceptable. 50% from the field is pretty good. 33% from three is pretty much average. So that's totally fine. He's also played essentially the entire game. He's got 27 minutes. Yuki Akubo with 12, 50% from the field, took one 3-pointer, but missed it. He's also played 27 minutes. He's got 5 assists to his name, by the way. So he's with 12 and 5. And then you've got, show me the bench. For as much as Wabash's production value is good, their live stats website is not great.
That's often a struggle I feel like for any program.
Here it is.
Those are tough.
Georgie with 14, 6 for 10 from the field, 2 for 3 from the 3-point. So Oberlin right now shooting 50% from the field, which is very good, and 47% from the 3-point, which is incredible, actually. That's really good. And then on the other side, the scoring is really spread out amongst everybody. But, the bear I poked in the first half, number 33, Amori Jones, I think his name is, with the shooting sleeve tattoos. He's a 4 for 9 with 11 points. He's their top scorer.
Nope, he's him. So what I'd like to propose too, I hear Oberlin has a new student manager. You tell me a bit more about him and maybe his statistical performances.
Oliver Rips, the man himself, stepped up. The basketball team, I think, basketball's always been a big part of his life. And I think that, the basketball team at Oberlin became a part of his life through friends and through no specific intention or purpose. He kind of ended up in this position where he could be the manager of the team. And I mean, he's done great work. He really made a concerted effort to set up the locker room in a way that I think is going to really build some team chemistry. He's done a lot statistically to let the guys track their progress. And I mean, he just cares. He just does the work. He sent us about 4 or 5 different documents with NBA player comparisons and statistics and just more information that we knew what to do with. So he's also a West Gym legend. He's been working on his shot a lot. And yeah, I mean, just all around a great guy. But you two know him. What do you got to say?
Well, Coach Nate Smith, one of the team's assistants, has called him the mechanic. I kind of love that nickname. I think it is applicable to Oliver. Just kind of a nose to the grindstone guy. Always willing to give it up for the squad. A great friend of the baseball teams as well. He just always a great person to have around. Any group, whether you're on the field, on the court, just passing by, in the classroom. Just what a great guy to have around. A huge presence on campus, I'd say, if you guys are in agreement with me.
Well, I've also taken notes, and apparently, two things you can say about Oliver Rips. One, if we're talking about student athletes, if you need somebody to help you with coding or anything with computer science, he is your guy. And then two, you're talking about support for Oberlin athletics. Another big quality of Oliver Rips is that he's always there to support Oberlin athletics. Similar to this guy who's in the crowd, this older gentleman who's really getting the whole crowd going.
Awesome,
this might be
man.
Oliver Rips in a few years.
This is awesome. Who is this guy and how do we sign him for the Yeoman?
This is fantastic. I don't know.
He might be a similar situation, as Jack's pointing out. You want to sign him. I don't know if you guys remember a couple years ago when the Philly Fanatic was a free agent, Max. Do you remember that? I was really pulling for the Nats to sign him in that situation. That's got to be a pretty big free agent signing. I don't know what type of pull this guy has on the open market, but clearly Wabash has looked to get him on a long-term contract.
Yeah, we can get him on a longer-term if his contract's up, maybe couple $1,000 a year.
And I mean, put him on a lifetime deal. It's not going to be the same as signing me to a lifetime deal. So I think it's a good bang for your buck.
I agree. You think with somebody who's been on the stream this much, it's kind of an Aaron Judge type deal. A high annual value. He's rallying this group of Wabash guys with their overalls and their little hats on.
We'll talk about rally. I guess I haven't really been paying attention. So Oberlin are starting to lose a grip a bit on this superb lead that they had. That's a great 3-pointer, just slams in. Jack, what did we miss there? What did we overlook? How is Wabash starting to sneak back into this game?
Well, I think what we missed was some complacency from Oberlin, getting a little bit comfortable with their lead and deciding to taking possessions for granted. So they were taking not good shots. I think they were a little bit lackadaisical in their focus. And Wabash he was tired, I think, of the margin and decided to start stepping up and playing the way we know they can play. And Oberlin sort of, was on their heels. And then as they started to push through, couldn't really respond well. So the timeout there from Shiva was a great timeout to stop that momentum, and a good measure of a coach is what a team does out of a timeout. Do they score? Do they turn it over? Do the players look like there's been a change in their mindset and their behavior? And you see that play call out of the timeout gets Georgie a good shot. 8 minutes left. You need Georgie and Demi to be on their game. Get him going again in the second half. I think it's a really good sign that play got drawn up there from Shiva. It looks really good, but they're kind of going punch for punch now, back and forth. And I'm going to say it, guys. We saw him a little bit in the Carnegie Mellon game. Oliver Rips and his statistics said he's become somewhat of a regular in their lineup, but we haven't seen him tonight. I want to see the first-year Zach Smith come out. He's a pesky guard. He's really good, calm on the ball, and he's a good spot-up shooter. As much as I'm a fan of Henry Lieber and Will Busquets, we haven't seen the best performances from them. So I'd like to see Zach come out, Zach Smith. Maybe he changes the tempo, maybe he doesn't. But considering what you're getting from Andrew and Henry and Will tonight, it's maybe time to try somebody different.
We've been in a situation here where the Yeoman had a bit of a sizable lead, but now we're down to a 1-possession game. It looked like Coach Shiva wanted to go with a more defensive lineup for these past couple possessions, having Hassan out on the floor, one of the team's best defenders. But now down to a 2-point game, we got to start putting the ball in the basket again, guys. So It'll be interesting to see if there's a bit of a lineup change because the strategy in the last couple of minutes has kind of dwindled. It's been tough for us to keep up with this Wabash offensive attack. So it'll be interesting to see. Jack, what do you think is really the optimal strategy here for playing with a small lead here for the Yeomen? We had a big lead and we squandered it a little bit. What's the best strategy when you have a small one possession lead?
Well, let me interject before Jack, you answer that. But I just wanted to say, number 33 for Wabash, Tattoo Man, just hit a 3-pointer right in Georgie's face, which in a way is really more hitting a 3-pointer in your face. So if you really need to coach your boys back into possession here.
I know. I mean, I said I poked the bear a little bit. I told you he was their leading scorer, and I really think I'm eating my words now. He's really showing me that maybe a tattoo on the shooting arm is a good idea. I think probably tomorrow I'll go and I'll get the Mona Lisa down my left arm. I'm a sneaky lefty, so you wouldn't realize it. But I think going forward in a close game like this, the guys that are on tonight, rhythm-wise, are on tonight. The guys that are off tonight, rhythm-wise, are off tonight. You're not going to expect somebody who's had a bad shooting night to all of a sudden turn it around. And you're not going to expect that somebody who's been on tonight is just going to fall off. So I think the way you coach this now is sort of hustle. It's, do you want to work hard enough in the next 7.5 minutes to beat the 25th ranked team in the nation? Do you want to fight every time to get in a good help defense position and get good shots? That's a tough shot there from Will, right? Like, that's not maybe necessarily the exact shot they were looking for, but do you say to Will, are you going to fight through this defender and get yourself in the lane for a layup? Are you going to dive on the ground for these balls? Are you going to go up for the rebounds and box out? Like, that's all that matters. So I think that's how you coach this, because you're right, guys. The lead's gone. They can, strategy-wise, they're playing their game. Wabash is playing theirs. At this point, it's really just, am I going to fight over this screen as hard as I can? Am I going to let this guy go by me? Deemy's doing what he can there, but he's got to sell out. I mean, he's got to not let that shot be available. So that's how I would do it.
Really can't sit on the lead anymore, when it's as small as this one. This, as you said, it's really just going to be, a back and forth from here going forward. Got a fun comment in here from Jake Freed, pointing out that Little Giants is a little bit of a counterintuitive mascot. Interesting point there from Jake. Always looking for a fun little pointer. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
If you're talking about counterintuitive
mascot matchup,
you see that horrific call. I don't know where the referee got that from. Clearly a Wabash player had just swatted the ball out and somehow it was going the other way for Oberlin. That seems counterintuitive to me.
Yeah,
fitting to their mascot.
It is a bit of an oxymoron.
Probably what they're going for there, guys. But, we'll wonder if Jake will accept that answer. But I think it is kind of intentional on the Little Giants front. We're a little partial to the Yeomen as the mascot, though. But as there's, there goes the lead, guys. So brand new ball game here with 6 to go.
We knew they were going to have to weather the storm. The question is when, how quickly, and when, how are the Yeomen going to respond, right? I don't know what's the call here. Foul 12. Okay, foul on 12. All right.
Well, we can give some inspiration. It looks like in our chat we have a viewer from Korea, which is definitely a first for the Yeo Cast. Hopefully our Korean viewer can will our Yeomen to victory.
We're international, guys.
Shout out to Korea for the big win, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Korea. That also is maybe one of my favorite moments from the World Cup. That was awesome.
And that winning goal, what a run there from Heung-Min Son. Tottenham Hotspur star. One of Max's favorite players.
Another update from the World Cup. Argentina has made it 2-0. Julian Alvarez scores the second goal after the Messi opener. Argentina 2-0 win, or not win, but winning formula so far. See if Oberlin can bring out the winning formula. Tie game now.
I want to also point out, I think this is 2 offensive rebounds here. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Do you want it? How badly do you want it? Are you going to fight? This has been almost a minute and a half full possession from the Yeomen. or Demi just drawing the foul there from just repeatedly posting number 14 up over and over and over again. Just relentlessly getting himself in the lane and making himself available. With how physically taxing that is, at some point 14 is just gonna, lose his form and foul here. So these are big free throws, 5 minutes left. And there's always little antics that go on here. The wiping of the bottom of your shoe, sliding your foot across the ground to squeak it, talking to your teammate. I played against one team in high school where all the players in white, all the Wabash players would be standing like this the entire time you were shooting your free throw. So no shortage of possible ways to mess somebody up on a free throw, but Demi's better than that. So
free throws there. Can't be giving away easy points at the line. That's the biggest recipe for disaster when you're trying to hold on late in the game.
And the Yeomen are kind of atrocious from the free throw line this year. I think they're shooting like 65%. Demi and Georgie are the only ones shooting like over 70. It's really a really bad, maybe like the biggest black sheep from the team this year is that that bad shooting percentage from the free throw line. Tough shot.
Really just back and forth here.
Still no lead change at the moment, though. Oberlin's been holding on.
Yep.
And if I'm correct, I think Wabash have maybe only led for maybe 30 seconds of this entire game.
Yep.
So whether or not, however this game ends up turning out, tough shot.
Nice work there.
And you see they're switching it up here. I think they realized Wabash was sort of figuring out the fundamentals of their general offense. So now they're going for more isolation, just telling Wabash, number 14 cannot guard Demi. We're going to wait. We're just going to keep doing this until you figure out how to stop it. Full court press, too. Good time. I like this timeout.
Guys, I don't know about you guys, but I have been really impressed with number 12, Jalen Boyd today from Wabash. Freshman from St. Louis, Missouri. He has really been impressive, driving, taking tough mid-range shots. He's been really the standout for me for Wabash so far. I don't know about you guys, but he's been really a thorn in the side of the Yeomen for this entire game.
Whoa. I totally agree with you, John. He's been going after and being pesky on Yuki all game. I think there was a technical foul just called on Henry Lieber here. This is why the camera's zooming in on him. That's why they had the Wabash players shooting free throws. I think he just got called for a technical.
Do you know in what regard? What happened here?
Well, considering he's not on the court, it's most likely it's John at the refs. He's saying something. It's got to be the only thing he could do. I mean, he's not playing, so it couldn't really be a something on the court issue, right? Right, they're talking to each other the same time. I don't know what's going on, or I don't know. I honestly don't know. It seems to be a personal moment here between Henry and Sheba, though, in some way. I don't know what's going on. But regardless, 2 free throws that are huge now because Wabash has a 2-point lead. And I don't know if they're going to get the ball back, but if they get the ball back, they could go up by as much as 5 here, and that would be devastating, I think, for the Yeomen with 3.5 minutes left.
Definitely. Another, we've said it so many times, but another really big timeout here. Definitely a different tune to sing for the Yeoman coaching staff here. Now playing from behind, but we've seen the Yeoman go on these really successful runs earlier in the game, but obviously it's a lot tougher here when you're inside the last 5. But we're fingers crossed. Hopefully we can find some of that magic from earlier in the game here to go on one last run and bring this one home.
I'm not sure how I feel about these Wabash jerseys. I don't think I like them.
They remind me of the football jerseys. Definitely not a fan. The numbers are kind of.
I don't like the numbers. Okay. This is what I thought. It's going to be Wabash ball. I'm calling it right now. If Wabash score, or no, it was Oberlin ball. I lied. Never mind then.
Big possession here coming out of the timeout. Gotta set the tone.
Another play drawn up from the staff. We'll see what they've got. Same setup, ball screen. Pushing through, looking for another one. Here he comes. Want to go to his right. Some ball mismatch in the post. Get it to him. Nice. Oh, the charge.
That's a great
Great take
basket.
there from Georgie.
Wow. Did he foul out from that?
Did they call an offensive foul there?
Yeah, they just called the charge. I think he might have just fouled out. There's no way he's got 5 fouls already.
Wow. Kind of a weak call from my perspective, but obviously we're not down there on the floor.
No, it was weak. Wow. Yep. That's really well done from them. Yep. Georgie just fouled out. That is crazy.
You can see the comfort with which Wabash is able to come at this Yeoman team, just so comfortable playing from behind and confident in their abilities. You know, we'll see if the Yeoman are able to counter this, but they really have been impressive, you know, obviously going down really big and being able to come back, you know, so much talent and ability and confidence going towards the rim. You see another just strong layup early in the shot clock.
If you're gonna pick him up 3/4 court like that, you can't let him get a layup without a pass. Like you gotta. The point is to pester him, but he didn't. At no point 14 did not look pestered in any way. And it's really been going through Demi here and everything. Oh my
Nice
God.
shot.
Everything's been going through him here. Georgie's fouled out. Yuki's a creator, but more of a dribble drive, and that hasn't been really there all game. Will can, but hasn't had the best night. So we're gonna live and die by Demi here from the Yeoman.
23 points from Demi. Really good game here to open up his conference season. If we can continue feeding him and feeding the hot hand here, we're gonna need him here down 4.
And guys, this is where that technical might be the difference maker, is because, you know, rather than the Yeoman going back and forth with the score ties and one.
Woo.
Rather than the score going back and tying now, the Yeoman are still going to be down by 1 if Will puts this free throw down. I mean, he will. I trust him. But those 2 free throws are going to maybe be the difference maker here. Whew. There he goes.
Making it a 1-point game here.
All right. I'm liking Hassan in here. Really good defensive player. He's very composed too. He doesn't always have the best body language on the court, but he's really composed. Good timeout from Wabash.
At this timeout, we're gonna have to take a break. We're gonna have to end this stream again. We'll make another stream for all the viewers watching. Thank you for sticking with us. We have to end this one. If you exit out, you'll see the new stream come back in. Again, we didn't pay for the premium Zoom app, so we will be rejoining